So who pays for all of this? Is it the travel company, the passenger, or the insurance company? It's a very grey area. Joining me now in the studio to discuss this is Jono Vernon-Powell from the independent tour operator Nomadic Thoughts. I'm assuming that you're getting lots of calls from people asking exactly that question. Who's going to compensate me for this?
The answer is no. Most of the calls are, how am I going to get home? And then after that, who's paying? Yeah, interesting times, to put it mildly. Yeah, definitely.
You're a tour operator. Does that mean that anybody who's booked through you is covered up to a certain degree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, if you think about it, there are really sort of two questions. The first is, how did you book your holiday or your trip? And the second is, at what stage of the booking process are you in? Number one, if you booked it direct, in other words, if you booked the flight or you booked the accommodation direct, you are sadly pretty much on your own. The only people you can communicate with are the people who are in charge of your flight and the people in charge of your accommodation. The beauty of booking with a tour operator, an AITO bonded tour operator, is that they have not only a duty of care, but a responsibility to look after you. Now, the grey area, if we're honest, is what goes to a duty of care. This is a completely unprecedented situation. I mean, you're talking about an industry that's economically on its knees, in that, we've lost, I think, as an industry, 20% of what we lost the whole of last year, and last year we lost just under $9 billion. So, the rules are changing, the lawyers are looking at it, and people don't actually know where they stand on it.
Are you and your lawyers, if you like, looking at it? Because presumably you've had people stuck in, I don't know where, Madrid, in Bosnia, anywhere around Europe, who basically had to stay on at the hotel that you booked them into. Who pays for that?
There is no one-line answer to that. What have we done? We've done our absolute best to look after our clients. Firstly, to keep them in the loop as to what's happening. Secondly, if they're in a hotel, to be quite honest, it depends where they are. If they're on an island in the middle of the Indian Ocean, the chances are there's nowhere else they can go. If they are in Europe, yes, we can help them get home. I mean, a classic example, I was very interested in your story there and the statistics that are coming out. That I actually don't believe that it's a negative thing. I think there are some fantastically positive stories coming through. AITO, the Association of Independent Tour Operators, is an example of the trade pulling together, where basically we're monitoring all 140 plus tour operators have got a spreadsheet going which is live all the time, who's got coaches going where, who can be picked up, who's come from Rome. So we're dovetailing people in on that.
People have had to work together basically to try and solve the problem.
It's a spirit of, hey, you're in trouble, let's help. It's not, oh wow, let's crank up the price. That's my experience.
Not that I want to be damning, but Ryanair has in fact turned around today and said that it's not going to fulfil its legal duties under the European Union. There's some rules under the European Union whereby if your flight is delayed more than a certain number of hours or cancelled, you're entitled to your money back. That's right, isn't it?
Again, well, two things. One rule for European flights and two operators, and two for those outside of the EU. I mean, you need to speak to Ryanair on why they've said that, but I think that the overriding sentiment is this is not a normal situation. Yes, if you've got a flight delay, the ruling is that an airline has put you up for 2 days. Now, whether Ryanair or any other organisation or airline are honouring that, that's for them to speak on. But, what happens? I mean, okay, thankfully, we've had flights flying today, so we can start that logjam moving. 48 hours ago, we could easily have been looking at this for another 2 or 3 weeks. So, I think really what people are saying is, hang on a minute here, this is not necessarily a travel industry issue, it's a humanitarian issue. We need to start building dormitories, not start telling people who's responsible, sort of thing. Beautifully, that is moving today, so that is good news.
I think everybody's breathing a big sigh of relief, except those, of course, who are still stranded and still struggling to get home. But Jono Vernon-Powell, appreciate your time. Thank you very much for trying to explain all that to us. Thank you.
And free parking, I understand, John, as well, for those who are too late back for their cars at Gatwick and Heathrow.
Really?
So that shows
I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah, the car parks have agreed.
So that is good news.
Well, there you go.